Hi everyone, this is Andrew the Hinkley Gooner. Thought I'd do a quick video message this time. It's a bit of an extra. This is regarding a tweet I sent out yesterday following the Emirates Cup and all the abuse that was given to Mustafi by booing him, and then afterwards on Twitter seeing that someone had posted on to Granit Xhaca's timeline directly on Instagram some hatred against him as well. Well, let's take this to the We Care Do You campaign that's been going on. If everyone that signed up to this campaign, and there's obviously a lot of people, I think it's pushing on now towards the 200,000 signatories on the petition, and everyone that's posted their videos about the We Care Do You campaign. Well, if you do care, then we need to stop booing and giving hatred via social media to our players. Once they're on that pitch, they're part of the #Gooner family, and it's not going to do them any good whatsoever, or the whole team any good, by giving them this grief non-stop. Now, if Mustafi is suffering specifically from some kind of mental issue, being that he's got so little confidence at the moment that it's affecting his performances via all the abuse he's been getting, then that's not going to help the team. And he's a very popular person in the changing room. All the other players actually like Xtra and Mustafi, so directing all this hate towards him is going to affect them as well, because they've got ears. They can hear what's happening within the crowd. They can hear the great chants, they can hear the boos as well. So if we want to be progressing the team and helping the defence at the moment, because we've got to work with the players that we've got, then once they cross that white line, we've got to give them support and stop this booing and this hatred. So like I said, if we care, then we've got to care about the players as well that's on the pitch, because they are the club at the moment. They are the ones we've got to pin all our hopes on to get us back in the top four. And by booing, it's not going to help, is it? By sending hate mail in the modern age via social media to these players, it ain't going to help. So they are going to be looking at their Instagram, and they are going to see these comments, and it's not going to help them. So let's stop that for a start. Now, after the match yesterday, which I really enjoyed, and I'd like to thank everyone for their nice comments about the pictures I posted of me and my three boys, because it meant an awful lot to us. We don't get to as many games as we want to because of the cost, as I mentioned before on the podcast and on Twitter. It's an extremely expensive trip for us to go, for me and my three boys. I don't get any change from between 300 and 400 quid by going to a game, and yeah, it's just ridiculous, and it's a very sad situation to be in. So when we went there yesterday, and I showed the pictures and all the lovely comments and likes that we got, I do really appreciate it. Now, as you can probably tell, I'm driving, so I can't literally list through all the people that gave us these lovely messages, but you know who you are, and we're really grateful of those. But at the match, I was really encouraged. I'm not going to be focusing on the issues regarding the defence. We know that the situations we've got, and we've got to work harder as a team to get that sorted. But I'm sure that you know, with the incoming, hopefully, fingers crossed, Kieran Tierney, that's going to be a start. According to Emery, they're still looking for a defender, so fingers crossed on that one as well. There have been some rumours that Roma want to buy Xtra and Mustafi, but that's not definite. They're just rumours at the moment. So at the moment, we've just got to work with what we've got at the moment at the back, and I'm not going to focus on that on this video. But going forward, we've got some really impressive players that I'm very excited to see this season. Not to mention the incoming Pepe, but again, until that's all done and dusted, I'm really trying to keep a lid on the excitement. I'm finding it quite difficult. I have put a few posts on Twitter with regards to Pepe, and a picture that's been mocked up of him and Aubameyang together. So I mean, it's looking very positive, but fingers crossed on that one. But without Pepe, I was very impressed with Reiss Nelson when he came on. I thought he was very lively. I thought for quite a long period of time he was the best player on the pitch. He looked very dangerous. He seems to be really getting his confidence together. So I really hope he gets a good run in the team, because players are only going to get really strong confidence and match fitness and sharpness by playing games. We all know that. So hopefully he won't just be getting the odd 10 minutes here and there, or Europa League games, because they're going to obviously only be one every couple of weeks once they start. So I hope he gets more than that. Eddie Nketiah, again, he didn't score, but he did everything but score yesterday. I'm really impressed with him. Every time I see him, he seems to be more and more like a young Ian Wright to me, with his movement and his ability on the ball, and his ability to find space and his burst of pace. He looks great. Same thing goes for him that I just said about Reiss Nelson as well, with game time. Martinelli, honestly, I put a tweet out yesterday, a whisper tweet, you may have seen it, saying that I'm going to whisper this very quietly, but I honestly think he really reminds me of when Cristiano Ronaldo was a very young player, and he was at Man United, and he was getting loads of stick. It's hard to believe that nowadays, but when he first joined, he was very criticised in a similar way to Theo Walcott's been criticised his whole career, because he had immense pace. I'm talking about Ronaldo now, not Walcott, although he did have the pace, but he had incredible skill. He could do all the tricks, beat men easily without even trying, but his end product was very poor at the beginning, because he was just obviously lacking experience and just lacking that final bit of quality. He just needed a bit of fine tuning. And I honestly think that Martinelli at the moment, he does need to improve his finishing and you know, his final ball, but he's got all that skill and the pace, frightening pace that Ronaldo had when he was very young. And I just hope to God that he can just sort of blossom over the next 2 or 3 years and gain his confidence and his calmness at the end of his movement, because we've got a hell of a player on our hand if that's the case. And Joe Willock again, I mean, he's much bigger than a lot of people think. If you haven't seen him in the flesh, he's really beefed out and filled out, and he's looking more and more impressive. And could we have finally found our replacement after all these years for Vieira and Gilberto? He's not exactly the same player, but he's not far off, and he's always in the box. I mean, so often yesterday, especially in the first half, he was the furthest forward of all our players in lots of occasions, and he loves to get the ball and drive into the box. He really does. So he could not only be a great Ramsey replacement, but I think if he could play properly in the centre of the park, and he could be a real box-to-box player, and yeah, take up that mantle that we've been missing for so many years with Vieira and Gilberto in the team. I mean, again, it's only a pre-season, but he's been very good in every pre-season game so far that I've watched across the US tour, and you know, and in person yesterday. He's quite a player. So again, you know, got to get the game time. Emery's got to be brave and play these kids, because there's a lot of promise there. Tyrese John Jules looked very, very lively when he came on in his sort of late cameo as well. Really liked him. And the forwards, I mean, I think Aubameyang is just on fire at the moment. His finish was delicious yesterday. I think Lacazette, a bit worried that after he went off. It's such a shame. I was looking forward to seeing him play a good portion of the match yesterday. He hasn't looked quite as sharp as Aubameyang so far in pre-season, but it doesn't really bother me too much. I'd rather him not peak too early. But yeah, that's a bit of a concern for starting the season in a couple of weeks' time, that he's going to be okay. But all the reports I've read, and in Emery's post-match interview, I saw some comments that it should only be a few days that it's going to affect him by. So fingers crossed on that one. I said I wasn't going to mention the back, but one player that did impress me was Chambers a lot. I don't think he put too much of a foot wrong, but he was very, very aggressive, I thought, in the tackle, winning the ball back, especially in the first half, when he was really close to me at that end of the pitch. And I kept a bit of a close eye on him, and he did impress me. He got so many detractors, and I'm not going to be telling you here and now that he's the answer at our right back, but I think credit where credit's due. I think Jenkinson's had a good pre-season so far. He hasn't really put too much of a foot wrong at all as well. I think against Real Madrid he did really, really well, and very impressive that match. He didn't play too much yesterday, but when he did, he was getting forward and put a few dangerous balls into the box. So if the worst comes to worst, then he's the first name on the team sheet at right back until Bellerin comes back. Then if he can maintain this form, then we should be okay. We should be able to get through, fingers crossed. Regarding the other players on the pitch, Mkhitaryan, I mean, he probably had a couple of decent moments in the game, but I really wish we could move him on. He's just I don't want him to take up a place in the team over and above one of our younger, more promising, exciting players. He's played a lot in the pre-season. I hope that's not going to be the case this coming season. If it is, it's just not fair. I don't think players need to be picked, as I've said in a previous pod, not on their name but on form, and he's just past his best, and I don't really know whether he's ever been at his best. He's had a few good games for Arsenal in short bursts, short spells, but he's taking up a place in the team for a much better player, in my opinion. I'd much rather have Nelson there, or Smith Rowe if he's not going to go out on loan. Yeah, well, pretty much any of the guys ahead of him, to be perfectly honest. But so overall, I mean, going forward, I was really encouraged, enthusiastic about the season coming up, and there's a lot to be hopeful for. And another tweet I put out yesterday was regarding Liverpool. Now, I'm not stupid and going to say that they're not going to have a good season again, but everyone is saying that the top two positions in the league are already taken, and that might be the case. Like I said, I've not got my head in the clouds or whatever, but I just simply cannot see that Liverpool are going to have quite as good a season in the Premier League as they did last season. To me, it seems that it was one of those seasons where, I don't know what happened there, my video just suddenly stopped. But anyway, I pretty much finished what I was going to say about Liverpool. I think that Chelsea are going to be very inconsistent. Could go definitely one or two ways with Chelsea. They could just really thrive under Lampard and go from strength to strength, or it could be a bit of a car crash. And I personally think it could be a bit middling, a bit sort of average. I don't think they'll get top 4 this season coming. Spurs, although they've bought Ndombele, who's a good player, he's not going to transform the team on his own. Over the last couple of seasons, they've gradually got worse points wise. They lost 20 games last season. Harry Kane has got ankles like an 85-year-old Jack Wilshere, which I've tweeted out before, and I can't see them having a very good season next year. Man United are going to be a car crash again. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be very lucky to last until Christmas. I could probably see him going about October, November. So we've got a fantastic chance this year, and I think that we could do a lot better than expected. So fingers crossed. I'll leave it there. Hope you enjoy this extra video, and I'll speak to you soon.